The landscape in Houston is shifting rapidly as we navigate the complexities of the offseason. From high-profile watch list inclusions to the hard realities of roster management, the front office is clearly signaling a new phase of team construction. We are tracking a major development involving a Super Bowl champion, evaluating the immediate winners and losers from this opening week of free agency, and addressing a difficult personnel move that has fans talking. There is a lot to unpack, and these moves could fundamentally alter our outlook for the upcoming campaign.
The Houston Texans are currently operating with a level of precision that suggests a clear vision for the 2026 season. Reports indicate that a seasoned Super Bowl champion has recently landed on the radar of a former league scout, and the implications for the Texans are significant. When you look at the strategic makeup of this roster, it is evident that Nick Caserio is prioritizing experience and championship pedigree to bolster a team that is already on the verge of greatness. This particular player brings a unique set of skills that could solidify a position group that faced questions throughout the previous year. We are talking about someone who has performed on the biggest stage and understands the intensity required to succeed in the postseason. From a tactical standpoint, this addition would provide the coaching staff with more flexibility in nickel and dime packages, allowing for better coverage versatility and an increased ability to force turnovers. Historical context tells us that adding players with this kind of resume often creates a ripple effect in the locker room, raising the standard of accountability and preparation during the long, grueling months of the season. Looking at the salary cap situation, the front office has managed to retain enough maneuverability to make these types of calculated gambles. It is a testament to the internal scouting process that Nick Caserio is willing to leverage these relationships to identify talent that might be undervalued by the rest of the league. If this interest matures into a formal agreement, we could be looking at one of the most impactful signings of the spring. The scouting report on this player emphasizes not just raw physical ability, but a high football IQ that allows him to diagnose plays before they even develop. This level of anticipation is exactly what the defensive scheme needs to take the next step. As we watch this situation unfold, the buzz around the facility is palpable. It is not just about filling a roster spot, it's about finding the missing piece of the puzzle that turns a playoff contending roster into a legitimate championship threat. This move signals that the team is not satisfied with past successes and is actively searching for ways to improve across the board. The secondary benefits of such a signing include mentoring the younger defensive players who can learn firsthand what it takes to survive and thrive in high-pressure situations. We will continue to monitor the communication between the front office and the players' camp as this situation develops. This is a classic example of the aggressive but measured approach that has defined the current era of Texans football. But that is not the only situation developing right now as we evaluate the broader scope of our recent activity.
If you are enjoying this deep dive into the Texans off-season strategy, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest insider analysis every day. The first week of free agency is always a volatile time, and for the Houston Texans, it has been a period of intense evaluation. We have seen some clear winners emerge based on the talent brought into the fold, but as with any aggressive strategy, there are also individuals and positions that have seen their standing change. DeMeco Ryans has been clear about his desire to cultivate a specific brand of football in Houston, one defined by physicality and speed. When we analyze the winners, we have to look at the personnel who now find themselves in roles that perfectly complement their skill sets. The coaching staff has done a tremendous job of identifying gaps in the scheme and filling them with players who have the discipline to execute the game plan under pressure. Conversely, the losers in this equation are often those who find their playing time threatened by the influx of new talent. This is the reality of the business. The competition for roster spots has never been higher. From a schematic perspective, the additions during this free agency period are designed to make the team more resistant to the diverse offensive looks they face within the AFC South. We are seeing a concerted effort to build a roster that is not just deep, but versatile enough to handle the transition from base defense to sub-packages without losing efficiency. DeMeco Ryans has emphasized that the goal is to create a culture of constant growth, and the front office is providing him the tools to exactly that. The salary cap implications of these moves are worth noting as well. While the team has spent wisely, they have avoided the trap of overextending for aging veterans who no longer fit the long-term window of contention. This prudent management ensures that the team remains flexible for future drafts and potential midseason trades. If you look at the way the roster is shaping up, the tactical identity is becoming crystal clear. The defense is being built to be faster, more aggressive, and more cerebral. On the offensive side, the focus has been on protecting the quarterback and creating more space for skill position players to operate in open territory. This is a holistic approach to building a championship-caliber team. Fans should be encouraged by the fact that the team is not just reacting to market trends, but actively dictating the terms of their roster construction.
The challenge now lies in the integration phase, where these new faces must learn the playbook and build chemistry with the existing core of leaders. It is a process that requires patience, but the foundation being laid right now is as solid as anything we have seen in recent franchise history. We are entering a phase where the team's identity is truly being solidified, and the next few months will be critical for determining the ceiling of the squad. The competition in the division is only getting tougher, which makes these early moves even more essential for long-term success.
The business side of the NFL can be brutal, and we received a stark reminder of that this past week with the news regarding Kurt Hinish. The Texans have officially released the defensive tackle with a failed injury designation. This is a difficult outcome for both the player and the team, as Kurt Hinish had been a part of the rotation and provided valuable depth in the trenches. When you look at the defensive line, this loss requires the team to reevaluate their depth chart, particularly in terms of their interior run-stopping capabilities. Analyzing the tactical impact, this move forces the coaching staff to look for immediate solutions in the draft or perhaps the second wave of free agency to ensure that the interior of the defensive line remains stout. The injury designation suggests that there was an issue that prevented Kurt Hinish from meeting the rigorous physical standards required for the upcoming season, and the team had to make a tough decision to move forward. It is a reminder that the defensive line is the engine of the entire unit. When a player like this is removed from the equation, the ripple effect on the rotation and the snap counts of other players is significant. We have seen the team prioritize durability in their recent acquisitions, and this move aligns with that philosophy, even if it comes at the cost of losing a player who understood the system. The scouting department now has to pivot quickly. They need to find a replacement who can handle the physical demands of the position while also fitting into the specific gap-shooting responsibilities that the defensive coordinator expects. It is not just about finding a body. It is about finding a specific type of athlete who can hold his own against double teams while keeping the linebackers clean. Historically, the Texans have been able to find value in the late rounds of the draft for these types of roles, and it is likely they will lean on that experience again. This situation also highlights the importance of the medical staff in the modern NFL. The precision with which these evaluations are made can dictate the entire trajectory of a team's season. We wish the best for Kurt Hinish as he navigates his recovery and looks for his next opportunity in the league. For the Texans, the focus remains on finding the right personnel to ensure that the defensive front remains a strength rather than a liability. This is an area of the roster that will be under the microscope throughout the entirety of the spring and into training camp. Every position battle, especially in the trenches, will be scrutinized to see who emerges to take over the responsibilities that were previously managed by this rotation member. The depth of the defensive line is often what separates good teams from great teams when December arrives, and this move is the first step in reshaping that critical unit for the challenges ahead.
It has been an incredibly busy stretch for the Houston Texans, and it is clear that DeMeco Ryans and the front office are working tirelessly to refine this roster. Between potential veteran additions, the shifting landscape of free agency, and the difficult personnel decisions like the one involving Kurt Hinish, there is no shortage of storylines to follow. We are seeing a team that is not afraid to make hard choices to build a culture of winning. I want to hear from you. How do you feel about the direction of the roster after these latest moves? Do you think the team is doing enough to compete for a title? Drop a comment below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more coverage.